All right, everybody, welcome to the Mission Roll Call Town Hall. As you know, my name is Ray Whitaker. I will be your host. And as always, we have Mr. Jim Whaley, the CEO of the organization, and he'll be joining me today. Jim, how are things? How have you been?
I'm doing great. How about you?
It's good. It's been a month. I can't believe, like, it feels like time is just speeding up.
It is speeding up. Well, you're getting older, and so life speeds up. For some of us, it's the other way. But it's been great here in South Carolina. The weather's been great. It's warming up. It's starting to feel a little springy.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I saw yesterday there's some nasty storms going across the U.S., so we'll see if
exactly.
we'll see if we get hit. Andres Brown, welcome in. Thanks for coming in. And for everybody that's here, if you guys have questions, you guys know the deal. If you have questions, you have things that you want to say, post it in whatever platform that you're on, and we will see it here, and we'll be more than happy to talk. This place is about you guys anyway, so we love questions and talking. Jim, how about we do the agenda real quick? Talk about a couple things that way everybody kind of knows what's going on.
Sure.
First and foremost, as always, we've started this thing where we bring on a special guest. I can't wait to talk about the organization that's here today and also the individual. So this is going to be a good one. That's going to happen towards the end of this. I definitely stick around for you guys to learn just a little bit about them and what they do.
Great organization.
Yeah. The new survey is up. So for those that take our monthly surveys, and if you're that, just go ahead and high five yourself. Just give yourself a quick high five. Thank you for doing that. Remember, not only impacts you, it also impacts generations of veterans to follow us, right? So this month, we are a little bit focused on midterm elections, what your priorities are. Are they still aligned with what you guys chose for us at the end of last year? So make sure that you guys do it. You should see the QR code. I think if I can point properly up top here, you can see it down here also for Veteran Voices Survey. And then some of the team, I'm sure, will post it on social so that you guys can go and do it. Please take it. It's literally a couple minutes for you guys to take it. Very beneficial. Again, 1 million veterans walk in the door, right? With answers, it's much easier to approach congressional leaders and then those that make decisions on y'all's behalf. Our next town hall, I think right now is scheduled for like April 8th. We may move that around a little bit to April 15th, just so everybody knows. We haven't told Nate that, so I apologize, Nate, for doing that. But we may have to move that a little bit, a week to the right. We'll make sure that you guys know whenever we post up the new one that's coming. If you guys have a question, again, make sure that you guys post it into the chat here, and we're looking forward to hearing from all of you guys. All right, Jim, let's get to some of the meat and potatoes. So we've actually, I look back last year, I was thinking about what we did last year and then what we've done this year. Mission Roll Call's always had an unbelievable mission with the things that we've done. James, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Wendy, good to see you as well. Thank you guys for coming in. One of the things that I know that we talked a little bit about last town hall was the Beacon Act, just a bit, right? We kind of glazed over it because you had a conversation about it, but we've had some additional kind of things that have happened. We released an article. So Mike and his team has put some stuff together and push it out there. The big part is for the Beacon Act, traumatic brain injury remains, as you know, one of the most common and complex injuries affecting post 9/11 veterans. We both know that. Many veterans continue to face limited treatment options, long wait times, and care models that don't fully address the long-term cognitive, emotional, and social effects of brain injury. So I think my question to you, Jim, is you had an opportunity to spend some time with Avalon Action Alliance. The American Legion was there at that area. Can you talk a little bit about why this is long overdue and why the Beacon Act is so important?
Well, it's crucial for the fact that there's just hundreds and thousands of veterans that are suffering from TBI. Many of them don't even know. They have the symptoms of not being able to concentrate, maybe getting irritable, maybe not being able to connect with other people, unable to maintain their attention, any pain, suffering, all of those sort of things, but they don't make the connection. So we know that the number of veterans and Americans in general, that the number of TBI is much higher than we originally thought. We also know it's a contributing factor to the slippery slope that leads to suicide, to homelessness, to disconnecting from your family and friends. So this Beacon Act is so important because we know that the VA cannot handle all of the folks that have TBI, the diagnosis of it, the treatment of it, all of that. So it's allowing the VA to partner with great organizations like Avalon Action Alliance to make sure it addresses these issues. We probably have all suffered at some point in our life with something that has happened to us, getting hit in the head, either it was through sports or in the military. And they're finding out now, of course, that TBI is much more complex than we thought. It's hard to diagnose sometimes, and you need the very best. And so having that collaborative spirit between the best in class in the outside world, organizations that are dealing with this, research hospitals, university hospitals, and organizations that are funded by the Avalon Action Alliance that are focused on TBI, using that expertise and with the expertise that lies in the VA only helps multiply the ability for us to not only diagnose but treat. So it's so important. We're bringing attention to it. You are telling us it's very important. We're sharing that with key legislative folks. General Bergman, Congressman Bergman is one of the leaders in this, but there are some others as well. We remain very hopeful. I think it's gotten a lot of traction. I think big organizations such as the American Legion and others are seeing this as something to get behind. And so again, it's amplifying the voices, listening to veterans, taking those polls, using that information, and then working with other organizations like we do with our organizations that are on our website that we partnered with, and using all of that expertise can then go to Congress and Senate and others and talk about it. And I'll tell you the other key point, the other leg in the stool here is using this information with the media, because they don't know much about it at all. TBI is just 3 letters to them. But until we explained it and they understand it, and now we're getting a lot of momentum. So it's exciting to see it starting to move.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awareness. I mean, more than anything, I think from our perspective, you know, the Beacon, because there's going to be a lot of folks that look at the Beacon Act, what the Beacon Act is. More than anything, there's a lot we don't know, right? And that's part of what the act is meant to do, is to help with that, and to give veterans options, and seek the real answers, you know, at the end. So,
well, I would urge anybody to just ask friends and family, what do they know about TBI? I think they'd be surprised that most people don't have any idea what it is.
Yeah.
And I was struck by the fact, Ray, and I think you were too, early on when we found out, when we first started learning more and more about TBI. I think the initial thought when you hear TBI is, oh, it's, you know, you got hit by something large, you were knocked out, you couldn't see straight for days, you had a serious concussion. And now we're finding out that TBI can be small microbursts, small arms, even 105 howitzers, things like that go off in a habitual nature that you're next to. It's going to do damage over a period of time. And so I think the more research we get on this is important, because we know this is all linked to suicide and homelessness and disenfranchisement. And the more we learn, the more we work together, the more we bring this to the attention of elected officials and the media and the general American public, the better off we are.
Yeah. And I see a question already, Jim, from Martin. Martin, great to have you here. Thanks for coming in today with us. He said, are there specific qualifications to be considered a TBI victim or sufferer?
Well, I'll answer that the best I can, because I'm not a scientist and I don't know the protocols that one goes through with all that. But I would say this at the very basic level: if you feel like you suffered from any sort of brain injury, and you may not even consider it traumatic, you need to go seek
Go see somebody. Yeah.
And you can get a test, and they can figure that out pretty quick if you've had a TBI. And then they can go from there on treatment and find out where it is in your records and all of those sort of things. But first thing, if you have any doubt, you should go see an expert on it, and that could be somebody at the VA or another organization as well.
Yeah, I don't. This is not.
I don't know if that answers that.
No, I think that's a good answer. I mean, the best answer we can give is non medical professionals is that
right.
Be somebody that is
right.
that can help with that. And if you even think that you may, then go see somebody, right? Especially if you're a veteran, you should definitely be going seeing the VA and starting that process, or externally if you get the appropriate approvals and all that.
Or I would add, if you think somebody else has, urging them to do it, because I think sometimes, we always say, veterans are really great about taking care of all the veterans, they're really bad about taking care
Yeah.
of themselves. So you may know somebody like they're not acting right. They don't seem to be thinking about this in a logical way. They seem drifting off in the conversation. There's some telltale signs that somebody might have suffered from an injury.
Yeah. And Martin says, makes sense. It's just difficult to see anyone at my VA. They are on 4 to 6 month backlog since I delayed. Yeah. Somebody told me something wise, and this is not Mission Roll Call per se saying this. This is Ray Whitaker saying this. It was really important. They told me that you're responsible for your own health. Nobody's going to care about it as much as you. So Martin, all I can tell you is that, we utilize the system that we utilize, which should be the VA or whatever, insurance you have to get that process. But at the end of the day, organizations like Avalon Action Alliance and nonprofits that are out here are places I would probably go. And we're happy to send that to you, Martin. Like, you can reach out to us through the contact us. Happy to connect you with them. They'll do the process. They're one of our partners. We absolutely believe in the work that they're trying to do. They both have scientists, and then they're on the rehab portion of this. So happy to connect you, bro.
Yeah.
And
we want you to get the help if you need it. That's for anybody on the call. There's no reason to suffer in silence on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's one part, Jim. The second part, back in 2022, 2023, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Brady Act. Brady Act was kind of Second Amendment rights. It's this idea of, due process and constitutional protections for veterans, right? They would go in, they'd see the VA. After they saw the VA, their constitutional rights would be removed. They would be stuck basically on a list that stopped them from being able to have a firearm. Back in 2023, if I remember the year right, I could be a little off, but we did a survey. We'd asked the question if veterans think that we should look into this, and all of that. And the answer was resoundingly yes. And we'll see that here in a little bit. You guys will see the survey, and that's what we did. And not just us, a lot of other organizations, right? I think the point here is we just want to make sure that veterans have the same due process, constitutional rights of any U.S. citizen. And so I wanted to ask you, Jim. I know the VA did some changes on their side, so they've kind of restored this. They've regressed. They've moved this back. I just wanted to ask you, how important do you think it is just for the reversal of veterans being categorized as prohibited persons for firearm background checks?
Yeah, I think it's huge. And I wish it got a little bit more attention in the press than it did. It took a long time to get here. We've been working it since our inception to make sure that elected officials knew and that the general public was understanding of the fact that veterans weren't getting the due process or enjoying the constitutional rights that we all have. And that is, there's a due process if you're going to take away Second Amendment rights. And that was not happening. So for those that may not know, what was happening was veterans were going to the VA. They were going through some mental health work. They were going to see doctors. They were taking surveys. They were any number of things could put them in a category of saying, okay, well, they've asked for some mental health help, and they're immediately put on a list that the FBI had. And so you lost your ability to buy a weapon, own a weapon. And that is not due process. In every other way, a judge needs to be involved with that. And that's all we were asking for, is that the same process that every American goes through is the same process every veteran goes through. This took a long time, decades, for it to finally get repealed. We applaud the VA for taking it off the process that they had to enforce. And so I think it's important that people understand that your voice needs to be loud, to be heard sometimes. And that's what we do. We amplify it here. So we took those polls. We went with other organizations. We're not taking full credit. But I think what we did, Ray, which most organizations did not do, is we really pushed it through the media. We really pushed it through social media and on our website and talked about it and used that polling. And that caught people's attention, and now it's changed. So good for us as a nation, good for us as a group of people that want to make sure that we have our constitutional rights protected. And that's all we're asking for. And luckily now it has. So it was good. It was a great win for us, I think, and for our our population.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. Chef Mallory said, new here, much talk of medical related needs as far as representation, or so it seems. How does Mission Roll Call participate in making a difference for people like my wife who honorably served? Chef, I'll take a quick run at this one and then we'll pass it over to Jim as well. Part of what we do here is capturing your voice, right? So for you and your spouse, so the veteran and their family. So that's the first part of this. Mission Roll Call is we are an unfiltered delivery system for your voice. We've seen that many of the congressional leaders, and we'll just say decision makers in general, it doesn't need to be a congressional leader, but the decision makers, they want to know what you think. There's not a process out there right now that provides that, and ultimately that's what we're providing. The second part is, let's say that there are things that your wife, your spouse needs help with. We have a veteran resource directory, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, where we have a lot of partnered organizations. We talk to these organizations. We go to their events. Like this is not just a list that we hang on a website and we expect people to go to and find. No, these are organizations that we know are out doing good work for veterans at the local level. So part of what we do is we try to match you up with the right person through our network to make sure that you guys are getting the support that you need. So making sure that you're taken care of, make sure your spouse is taken care of is our mission. I mean, that's what we're here for. So whether it's delivering your voice, getting data about what's occurred to veterans and their family, delivering that decision makers, or of course, pointing you in the right direction with our network to make sure that you get the support that you need. Jim, I don't know if you wanted to expand on that at all.
Yeah, I would just underscore the fact that many senior people in Congress and Senate and the VA, they come to ask, and they ask us the question, what do veterans think? Not the question, what Mission Roll Call thinks.
That's right.
When they ask other organizations, they ask, what does the organization think? But that's what separates us from any other organization. We're not affiliated with one party or the other. We're non-political. And so we take what we hear from veterans, we put it into context. We ask folks to survey. We do a survey once a month on a number of issues, and then we use that to help educate those that are making important decisions. And not a shot at anybody in Congress or Senate, but I've been in the room where somebody would ask a question and the staff people are Googling the answer. That's not a great way to do policy. You really need to know what people want. And we're 18 million strong as veterans across this country. It's a powerful voice. And when you think about dependents and spouses and things like that, it's even more powerful. Yeah. So we're a unique group that really does care about each other, right? I mean, that's the ethos of every branch of service, is you care more about the person to your left or right than you care about yourself. And that's what drives this organization. And I think that's why it's resonating so much, so well with the media, and resonating so well with elected officials, because they know they're going to get it. We're going to be an honest broker. We're going to give you the details. We're going to give you the stats, and you can go from there. And I think that's important for anyone to know. And it's including spouses and dependents, right? Because we know that when a military person moves around and does things, or is suffering during transition or any number of issues, the whole family is affected by that. So that's why we're open to getting the polling from dependents and from family members, because we think that ecosystem is so important. And I think that's another thing that really separates us.
Yeah, great. And what I'd love is, Nate, can you do us a favor, pull up, so everybody, so you guys know we've got a kind of a campaign going right now for donations from folks, but I want to pull the page up, because on the page, Chef, for what you're asking, one of the notes that we bring up is what we just talked about, which was the Brady Act. And you'll see the poll results when Nate gets this up on the screen so everybody can see it. You'll see on there kind of what happens, right? We have you guys take these surveys, these polls, the results come from these surveys and polls, and this is exactly how we hand it to the leadership. There's no in between of what these things are doing or how they're kind of put out. So yes, you can see, flip over to the donate page there. Nate, okay, I'll scroll down there to the bottom and you'll see, keep going. Okay, right here, here's an example. So this is a poll. This is how we asked what it would look like. Hey, for the Brady Act of 93, the VA appeal, so forth and so on. We asked And this is what we got back, right? So you guys were very clear. Do you agree with the current policy, or should Congress change the law to protect due process? And you thought that Congress should change the law. And ultimately, the VA is the one that made the decision to move backwards. But at the end of the day, that's what we're doing as an organization. And this is very powerful. It's not us, it's you guys. And that's why it's so important. It's why we have these town halls. It's why we do much of what we do, is to make sure that you guys get your voice heard and all of that.
Yeah.
So with that, just real quick, Nate, bring that back up. So we want to talk about the sport admission. Just a couple of things. We got our donation drive going on right now for you guys. One of the things that we'd ask you guys consider, you can go here, you can see how it fuels our mission. Lots of opportunity here. There'll be a link up top. We don't normally ask. We're in our normal cycle of doing this. You guys fuel not only support for veterans today, but for generations of veterans to come, right? So once we get veterans to understand that you guys hold the key to the future of others by just having your voice heard, then mission roll call at some point will go away, because veterans will then know that they can step forward. We are the beholders of our own future as it comes to the voice of things that we want. So it's very powerful. A lot of this stuff happens. Okay. All right. So the next thing, Jim, I know you've been, I kind of started this thing off. You've been up in DC a lot. You had an opportunity to have breakfast with Secretary of VA. You also had testimony that you did here in March as well. Love to kind of get a quick dump from you of how the breakfast went, for things that you can talk about. I mean, obviously I understand that was kind of a closed session with other VSOs, but then at the same point, how did the testimony go?
Yeah, first I'll talk about the breakfast, because sequentially that's how it happened. And that's the way my notes are. So, hey, I got to look at my notes. The breakfast was great. It's great to see other VSOs there. And it was really in the time frame of when they were repealing the interim final report on VA making decisions on people's VA compensation. And it was basically sent out. It blew up in social media, and then VA retracted it and said, no, that was a mistake. We're on it. We're going to fix it. It was interesting because I think a lot of organizations jumped on it immediately. We listened to all of you, and there was clearly uncertainty of what it all meant and when did it come out? Why did it come out now? So we took from all of that was, let's see what happens here. Let's see what the VA says before we go to an emergency polling or survey and get all bent out of shape about it. And so what we found out, it was a mistake. They owed up to it. The VA secretary is very transparent and said, we've rescinded that. We're going to fix it. And I think that went a long way rather than getting defensive. And he invited us to kind of give our opinions of it and all of that. I think the other thing he talked about in that meeting, which I thought was really great, is that now under 100,000 cases of backlog, and it was like 300 plus when they started. So they've really worked on reducing the backlog, and they're trying to get that to zero so that they can speed up this whole process. And that was really good. I think the actual number was 280, not 300. I just checked my notes. I think the other one was, and I thought this was really, really great discussion that we all had. And that was, we all know, or at least the saying is, if you've gone to one VA, you've gone to one VA. And the thought process there is that you may be in a location where your VA is outstanding and you prefer that the place to get your health care versus someone outside. In some cases, though, there's VAs that don't hold to that standard. And they're a place where there's long lines, the quality of care is not as good. And so what the VA is doing is changing the structure of the organization so hospitals will be held accountable, and the leadership of the hospitals will be held more accountable for their outcomes. And I think that's what we all want, right? We all want that the local VAs that we use are the very best. And so that's what their intentions are. And so there was a great discussion on that and offers of help and things like that. So I thought that went over very, very well in the room. There's always a little contention, right? I mean, that's the way it is. It's kind of church and state a little bit between VSOs and the VA. We hold them accountable and we share with them when things don't go well. In fact, a few months ago, there was a hospital in Tampa that wasn't doing really well. I believe it was Tampa. And then we went to them and did something and explained it to them at the VA, and they went, "Oh, that's a mistake. We'll go fix it." So it's holding them accountable, but also not making them as the organization to hate, because there's a lot of great people in that organization are trying to do things. So they have room for improvement. Absolutely. We try to use our surveys and our experiences and discussions with all of you to kind of do that. So all good. I think the other thing was the testimony, which is always fun and a little apprehensive because you never know what somebody's going to ask you when you're up there testifying. You read your testimony, but then the questions can come literally far left or far right. But it was very good. It was well received. And I think the reason it was well received is we start off our testimony, our discussion is, this isn't Mission Roll Call's opinion. This is what we're hearing from veterans, and this is what they're telling us. Let me share that with you. And of course, the number one issue is access to healthcare, either by using the VA or not using the VA.
Yeah.
And so that was a good discussion point, and lots of heads nodding. And so it was a good discussion.
Yeah. Great, Jim. Thank you for that. We had a couple posts here. Lynn and Warren, appreciate both of you coming in today. Lynn asked, what is being done to have the VA consider heart and soul wound of our veterans actually moral and spiritual? It's not all mental health. Thanks. Yeah. The interesting part, Lynn, is that we're human, right? All of us are a little bit different. And I put myself in the shoes of somebody just trying to help people. The one thing I've learned in, my small time floating around on this rock, helping people inside the nonprofit space, everybody's different. How to help them is different. Mike, one of the guys on our team, the left a clinical, he wrote a 3-series kind of articles on this idea that there's a lot of things that we got to do. Right? You got to do holistic care, and everything doesn't just start here. There's lots of things. It could be working out. It could be spiritual. Like there's just a lot that is applied to this. From a congressional standpoint in our government, they are in meetings all day. That's what they do. They're just circling again. And I'm just bringing the point of how important it is for you guys, everybody that's here, guys and gals, to get your voice heard. They're in meetings all day talking about the things they talk about. They only remember the things that they see or hear, because they're not outside of that thing. Right. So partly what we're doing is bringing that up. So when you bring up the moral and spiritual, or the heart and soul, or the idea that we need to do more, we need to try different types of things to help. Like these are all things that VSOs like us, the Team Red, White, and Blues, the Avalons, these other organizations that are out there are consistently bringing up to the congressional leaders, right? Hey, we need to research these things. We need to figure out how to do it. We need to give veterans options. We need to, saving somebody's life is the goal, right? For some of this, making somebody live a productive life and not worry about just not waking up in the morning and just feeling like you're in an echo chamber all day, right? Headaches, stuff like that. So there's a lot that happens here. Lynn, we understand where you're coming from, and we are absolutely working on it, basically because veterans, you guys have told us that we need to. So there's a lot that's going to continue to move into this as we move forward. Jim, I don't know if you wanted to throw anything else on there.
No, when I heard that comment, I immediately thought about the comment Walt Pyatt made, CEO of Wounded Warrior, who sat right next to me during testimony. And he brought up the fact that, hey, our veterans should not have to go to Mexico or to some foreign country to get the care that they need, using alternative ways of dealing with medicines and other things to address the issues. We need to be able to do that right here in the U.S. We need to be best in class, and we need to be open to new ideas. So I hear what she's saying loud and clear. We got to be open to a number of things. And then, the articles on left of clinical, I would urge everybody to read those and share them with people, because it's about the idea, if I have to make a synopsis of it, is that if we can get upstream on some of these issues, we can solve them a lot easier with a lot less medication, with a lot less cost, with better outcomes if we can get to it earlier. And that's making sure the whole community understands that. It's not some magic person that's going to figure out. It's all of us to recognize someone, oh, this is what's going on. This is what I need to do to try to help. Because if you're on this call, it's because you want to help.
That's right.
Right? I mean, you're not spending time in your day to do this. If not, there's a spark in your heart that wants to help your brothers and sisters.
That's right. Yeah. And if there's programs, Lynn, that you've seen, those are the things that we need, that we need, right?
Absolutely.
Send those things to us so that, we can present those, because that's ultimately what we need. Yvette, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, ma'am. For everybody, Yvette she's amazing. So she's, she does so much for the homeless veteran community, where she lives up there towards Chicago. So we appreciate her being here and all the work that she does from her side. Stephen wrote a question, and we'll do it real quick, Stephen. It's not a big deal. Joining for the first time, though I've known of y'all's mission and impact. I'm a chairman of Victory for Veterans, and one of our services putting hyperbaric chambers and clinics to treat veterans for free. Oxygenated treatments have huge impacts of TBI and thousands of other conditions. Swifter and direct referral funding reimbursement is needed. Can you speak to any policy changes and or law that you are aware or part of, or that will? I'm going to kick this over to Jim, but one note, Stephen, we'd love for you to connect with us. First and foremost, just because there's probably more that we only got so much time, but we definitely want to talk to you about this. We're very interested in this. We obviously have lots of HBOT based articles that are on the website. But Jim, kick it over to you, or we can connect them with Mike, whichever makes the most sense.
I'll do what I can. HBOT is something that we've been talking about, surveying about. We have articles on our website about. There is momentum in different parts of Congress to address this, and there are some bills in the process that we are going to continue to support. And by I mean support, sharing it with the audience, all of you, getting you to take a survey on it, find out where everybody is. But overwhelmingly, veterans and family members are in huge support of alternative ways of solving problems. And I think all of us want to use as many in the latest, greatest scientific achievements to make sure that we address issues that are really holding some of our folks back and diminishing their quality of life. So we hear you loud and clear, and happy to connect with you. And as Ray said, reach out to us directly. Well, this is kind of directly, but we'll circle back to you. But we have stuff on the website as well, which is very useful.
Yeah, and you can see Stephen, Mike's replying right now. Mike is we call him the brains of the operation. Definitely. He spends his life looking through this stuff and doing his part to impact, but there's a lot of stuff that he has down here. And I would love to connect you with Mike. He's a fabulous guy, first and foremost. But he understands this very well because he lives in it all day long. So I think having you two talk about it, he can provide some of that, would be very, very helpful.
And it's easy to get lost in the morass of bills, because there are literally hundreds and hundreds of bills, some of them very close to each other, some of them are interlocking, some of them well in the process, some of them in the beginning, and it's a very complex process. I guess it's designed that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Lynn, we'd love to connect with you after. So I think both you, Stephen, and anybody else, you guys can DM us directly, or you can go to the website, contact us. That's the best way, or right here, info@missionrollcall.org. And that way we can just get you guys in and become partners and all the other stuff. We'd love to support you guys. Good afternoon, John. Good to see you, buddy. Mike also said on the Senate side, Senator Tuberville is strongly behind HBOT, which makes sense coming from a football background. Yeah. So there's definitely some representation that's happening there. No, you're okay. Yeah, we appreciate it, Stephen. Absolutely, man. Looking forward to connecting with you. Okay, Jim, just a couple other notes. We had Operation Recap that happened in February. As always, we always kind of put a couple things out. February was pretty busy. We talked a little bit about, for veterans just in general, what to expect from their first appointment at the VA, a guide to the VA mental health care system and how to navigate that, because that is not an easy system, as we all learned going through this process. And then, of course, peer support. We had talked to Don Lagoon, which, what a fabulous individual. He's been struggling with mental health for 50 years. It was interesting sitting down with him. He's not as he says, I'm not a doctor, but I have experience because I've been dealing with it. And he, boy, what I tell you, talking to him and talking about peer support, just having folks to listen to you and connecting with people that have lived the same life was so beneficial for him. And it's vital for him as he continues to move forward. So we have that article up, and we'd love folks to stop by and read it, especially the veterans that are in the crowd that may not have a lot of information on this stuff. I think it would be great. The other thing, Jim, we had the Veteran Resource Directory update. So it is live. This is great. From a bigger thing, Nate, I don't know if you can pull that up real quick, but for the Veteran Resource Directory, big parts before is it was there. It's always been there, but it was a little bit cumbersome to search and like find what you needed. So if I went in and I put like dog as an example, because I'm looking for a service dog or a service animal or whatever, the tags just wouldn't pull that information as good as they do now. So T and Roger on our team have done a fabulous job of making this way better for folks. You can also search by state and city, right? So if you're looking for something in your area, because one of the things we talk about here is we got to get at the community level, right? And this is why we partner with, I think we're like 90 something partners and sponsors on the Veteran Resource Directory. All of them, we're going to get more and more in these cities and where veterans are located, because we want a veteran to be able to come search for the thing they need, where they live, and then know that the folks that are there are vetted. Like they are doing good things wherever the location is. So we're going to continue to blow that out just a little bit more, make it way more important over the entire system. I know, Jim, we've always talked about the digital hub, this idea like that's how the organization was kind of founded, with this idea. If you look at, the majority of the other organizations, not all, but the majority, they just haven't caught up on what we would call the internet, right? We're still using flip phones versus, now we've got Android and iPhones. We got to move forward with what we have. What impact do you see from your seat with the Veteran Resource Directory, not only for veterans, but also for MPOs and VSOs?
Well, I think it's a twofold benefit of how we approach this. And to your point, what we tried to do right from the beginning is to become a hub for veterans transitioning, or folks that even been out of the military for many, many years. And want to volunteer or want to give back or need help. We wanted to make it easy for folks to find an organization. We've done that, and through the process, we've refined it, and we've been very good in reaching out to organizations to join this. I mean, the fact is tens of thousands of veteran support organizations out there. Some of them have very humble beginnings, and they're very small, but it doesn't take away from the great work that they're doing. And they need exposure to other people to get people to volunteer, to get people to give to them, to get people to use their facilities. And so that's what this is for. The idea is to bring the community together and work together for a mutual cause, and that is the health and welfare of our brothers and sisters and veterans and their families. And that's what this is all about. And you would think this would have been something that had already been established, but it wasn't, because I think most, when you go to most websites for most veteran support organizations, they talk about their organization, and that's fine. I get it. They're trying to get the information out about their organization. But the fact is that many veterans need multiple VSOs to address issues that they may have, or their volunteer spirit, or how they want to give resources. They have a number of interests they want to be involved with. And so that's what this does. We have vetted these organizations. We've talked to them. We make sure that they have great standing in the community. And now we're partnering with them more and more to solve issues. And so on any given day, we may hear from a veteran that needs help with such and such, and we point them in the right direction to this organization, or another organization says, hey, listen, we want to reach out to another organization. So we help bring those people together, because at the end of the day, it's about all of those that are on the call to make sure they're getting the resources that they need and the knowledge that they need. The whole idea of mission roll call, someday we go away. That's and right. That all of us know how to amplify our voices in Congress and do it in a way that gets the answer that we need. Right now, we're playing a vital role because no one else is doing this. But hopefully, and I would think for all nonprofits, the idea is to focus on your mission, get that mission done, and go away. It might take us a little while to get there, but I feel like the resource directory is just a wonderful addition to what we're providing veterans, because they can go to our website, read about what's going on in the community, read about legislation, read about impacts in the community, read about fellow veterans, but also see what other organizations are doing. And here's the other thing, and then I'll stop. It actually helps all of the other VSOs, because now we're collaborating more and sharing ideas and looking at best practices and calling, saying, well, how did you guys approach this? And how did you do this? And that's what you do when you're in the service, whatever branch you are. So that spirit is the spirit we're trying to bring with this, and it's getting a lot of momentum and excited about it. So someone listening may know about a veteran support organization that we don't know about. Love to talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you go to the Veteran Resource Directory for, I know Lynn, I think you, Steve, and the rest of you, if you're in a nonprofit or you know one that we should look at, when you go to the page, you can actually submit one. So you can become a resource, and then we'll connect you and all of that. So very cool. Okay. So here comes the fun part. We love all the stuff that we're doing inside the organization. What I love most about, Mission Roll Call is the impact that we're having for veterans and, of course, their families and the work that we're doing, but then also the relationships that we're developing, and then also changing the way nonprofits see each other as less in competition and more of camaraderie. We can do way more together. This organization's a little bit different in some ways, because it was created for the memory of Sergeant First Class Richard Herma. For those that don't know, I served with him. Unfortunately, his life was cut short back during Operation Enduring Freedom, 2006 timeframe or so. The stories of Rick, and I asked a couple people, because I knew we were going to be talking, a little bit excited to have this, and I'd gone through like 3 or 4 folks that I knew and just asked them a couple questions, and all of them basically said this different ways. He cared about you more than he cared about himself, and I think that's the epitome of what Rick's place is. And we're going to get an opportunity to meet John Yearby. Love to introduce him now. He's the Deputy Executive Director for Rick Herma Foundation, an organization devoted to impact others. And John, welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Ray, and appreciate the introduction and the opportunity to share the Rick Herma story and Rick's place here in the Fort Bragg, Fayetteville region here. So thank you.
Would love to just, from your own kind of words, for maybe folks that don't understand what it is, right? I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're going to look up, Rick, I hope, after they leave here to understand his legacy. Yeah. But maybe just kind of explain to the viewers and those that are listening, what is the foundation about? Like, what do you guys do in general?
Yeah, so great question, because we have a pretty expansive mission, but the core root of it is what we're trying to do here is strengthen military families through fun, quality activities and build a community for them. We have a 50-acre park here right outside of Fort Bragg, about 5.5 miles from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And every day the gate opens and it's just a park, right? We got 3-story tree house, playground, pond, walking trails, picnic tables, pavilions, lots of shade trees and so forth. Just a nice place to come and just hang out. But what we really see happening under those trees and next to the playground is we see military families gathering together and connecting, right? So if we've served, we've all gone through that time of relocation. And sometimes that can be scary. For me, it wasn't all that scary because I signed in my unit. And next thing you know, we're off and running, doing a mission, and I had my team to focus me and to connect with. But for my family, they sat at home kind of on the sideline, and they had to figure out how to connect with the community that now that they were part of. And so what we like to think here is give the families an opportunity to connect, but also to thrive where they're at, as opposed to just survive.
Yeah. We always love to ask this question. Why did you go there? I mean, because it's really interesting, right? You have this, we talk service to service, our entire organization, this idea where somebody who is coming out of military oftentimes will go into their local community and continue to serve. And that could be a coach, that could be, firemen, law enforcement. And in many ways, we find that nonprofits are very similar to this, right? You're serving, and in many ways, different ways. So love to hear, John, why the foundation for you, and why are they the right piece for your journey kind of moving forward?
Yeah, I've really got started in this, from the beginning. I know the founder. We served together and got started, and so I had the fortunate opportunity to be able to serve in the United States Army for 37 years at all different levels, and what I found is what I appreciated most. You tend to find this out, either later in your career or when you step away. Is I appreciated the service, right?
Yeah.
That's what I appreciated most, is the service and the ability to give back to others. Right. And so when it was time to find my next mission, I was looking for an opportunity to do that, and so this came along. And it gives me the ability to serve the community that I had been a part of my entire life. The wonderful thing about Rick's Place and RHF as a whole, as a foundation, is it's really no questions asked. And Ray, we had the opportunity to serve together for a little bit, and our mission rotation looked different than maybe general purpose forces rotation. Right. Mission. A lot of times my kids didn't qualify to go to these camps and these different things because my rotation looked different from maybe someone else's. And so although I was never home, but it just looked different, right? So that's right. And so here we don't care about any of that, right? We want to serve everybody equally. We want to be able to just give you an opportunity to come with your family to get involved with our programs. I mentioned our park in the introduction, but we have programs and activities as well, and that is great for connecting those families. And Messy Mondays, which is a wonderful arts program, probably our most longest running program. It's really very popular. And CFRT, which is the Cape Fear Regional Theater, local theater we have here. They do a youth theater program here. We have Bend and Brew, a little bit of yoga and coffee. And then we do some weekend at Rick's Place. We do a Cooking Matters, which I think Cooking Matters is a wonderful program because there are a lot of service members that have difficulty with food security. And what Cooking Matters does is it teaches you how to make a nutritious meal on a budget. And so we partner with the Poe Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we do that. We provide you the ingredients. So we provide you everything it takes to make that meal, to do that recipe, and they provide you the instruction, and you get a little, kitchen skills while you're at it, things that are very helpful. Then, like, for example, this Saturday, we got egg extravaganza. We call these our monthly family fun events. So our monthly family fun, so egg extravaganza. We have Nerf wars. We have fun in the sun. We have spooky movie night, falling into Christmas, all kinds of fun things. Everything free of charge if you have a DoD ID card. So you don't have to be active duty. You could be a veteran. You could be a Guard, Reserve, even a DoD employee. We want to serve you absolutely free.
I tell you, I'm getting off subject here. I told you this would happen, by the way. But when I think back in my time, I remember, and I'm not old, I swear, but I used to take my kid on the weekends to Lowe's because they had the ability to, we would build stuff together. The reason I bring that up is for folks that may not understand the importance of what you guys are doing for that family integration, reacclimation in many ways, right? I talk about this a lot with stuff that I do off of, doing nonprofit stuff. Much of that came from my understanding that I needed to reacclimate to my son, not the other way around, right? I had changed more than they had. I needed to figure out how to create that parental unit, kid unit, like all of that again. And I think what you guys are doing, as I'm listening to you talk, that's much of the stuff you guys are doing. You're bringing that to folks so they can pick the area that they want to be in. That may be something that's perfect for them to get them and their kids to come out. So again, man, I love Rick's. Okay. Now back on topic. So I know you guys got a pretty cool event that's coming up. I don't want to steal the thunder on this. If Nate can show the video, that's going to be great. As you're talking about this, can you talk about the event, when it is, all of that?
I certainly can. And if Nate can pull up the video, it does have sound, so I can wait. It's only a minute long.
Okay.
I don't know if Nate has it.
Oh yeah, ninja competition.
That's right. Our father and son team going up the obstacles right there.
Yeah, that is cool. Awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And it's fun too. So, starting here on the 23rd of March, we're going to start constructing our Ninja obstacle course. We don't have it year round. We do it. It is what we consider our flagship event, signature event, if you will. And so we are going to do Ninja Warrior obstacle course over water, as you saw, very similar to what you'd see on the American Ninja Warrior show on NBC. I'm told we're the only ones. You can go other places and find Ninja obstacle courses. We're the only ones that do it over water, just like they do on the TV show. And so we do that because we had the fortunate, we're fortunate that we have the creator of American Ninja Warrior obstacle course, meaning that Darren Jeffries, he sits on our board of directors, and he was the one that he basically did this for a living when he was, before he retired. And so he was able to bring, what he knew very well to us. Cool. And so we use it as an opportunity to have a family-friendly, high-energy environment, a community-building environment out here. It's designed to challenge folks, of course. That's designed to inspire and just really people coming together to enjoy it. Last year we had over 2,000 people come out here to participate, and we expect this year we'll have that many or more. The course opens to the public on the 18th of April and runs through the 25th of April. We have 3 public access days. That's 18, 19 April, and then 25 April. Okay. So if people wants to get involved, they can go to our website at rhfnow.org. We actually have a tab dedicated for Ninja. The individual registration opens up. It's free, but it opens up on the 23rd of March. Currently, we have 2 reservation links open. One is for units, because as I told you, it runs from the 18th to the 25th. But for the local units here at Fort Bragg, we offer the course in half-day increments from the 20th through the 24th. Right, so they can come out here, challenge one another, have that good camaraderie and esprit de corps, and really build some resilience out here as a team. And so that's done during the 20th through the 24th. There's that registration again opens up on the 23rd of March for the individual though.
Great, man. Well, we love it. I'm sure you don't run this alone. I had to look through your website and notice that there's a lot of volunteers, a lot of folks that are involved. We even saw one of the staff photos that was there standing there. Is there a location that folks maybe live in the North Carolina area that want to help you guys? Do they go to the website to volunteer to support you guys?
Yes. So there's a couple of ways that people can get involved. And if you're, in an ability to help through sponsorship. This is a major undertaking. You know, we bring professionals from the West Coast out here, obviously to keep it safe, because we don't want anybody to get hurt out here. So this costs us quite a bit, and obviously to dig and build that costs something too. So we can, folks can get behind us and get involved through sponsorship. They can also get involved through volunteering. Like I mentioned, the volunteer link is open currently. If you want to volunteer individually, just go to that link, click into what day you want. You'll see the times, pick a time, and then you're there to volunteer. Nate, what Nate's showing is the general volunteers, just to be an RHF volunteer, but under the Ninja tab, there's a specific volunteer link for that. And so that's another way to get involved. And then the other way to get involved, if there's any folks out there listening that are part of a military unit, take advantage of that reservation. You can come out here and spend a half a day with your unit out here and enjoy the course.
Yeah, just a good old smoke session. That's what we all look for. Yeah. Well, John, I appreciate we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. We're absolutely looking forward. I know Mission Roll Call is going to be there at least one day during this. Awesome. So we look forward to coming and hanging out with you guys. And more importantly, we appreciate, you being an organization that is memorializing not only somebody that we lost, but also his family, because, we often talk about the individual, but we forget about the family. And please let his family know from us. And I'm sure they know this, but we think about him often. And we will never forget. So we appreciate you, John, for all you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, John. Take care.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We're going to be jumping off here in a second. If you have any other questions or anything, you guys can post them over in the chat. As always, you guys are amazing. Again, we're going to see you guys on April 15th. That'll be the new date. I need to move it just a little bit to a week. Look, Nate's already all over it. That way that we're good to go for that one. Jim, just real quick question for you. Anything that you want to put out to the group before we end this thing?
Well, just our last guest. It's an example of how we're reaching other organizations, helping to tell their story, letting the community know about it. I am sure somebody on this call is going to connect with that organization, right? And make a difference. And so I would urge you to look at our resource directory and find your next thing. Find the thing that is going to make you tick. Maybe something that you could use with your family or with your coworkers, or something that is just going to help you. And never forget that your voice matters, and that we need to hear from you. And then I would urge people, if they could spare $5 and donate that. If we think about that across the veteran community, that gives us a lot of resources to continue to do the work that we want to do and expand in areas that are going to help veterans and their families, not for this generation, but for the next generation and generation after that. And that's why I'm always jazzed up about these calls. I'm always excited about what we're trying to do, because I know that the impact that we're making has an impact for many, many years to come. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as always, we, for the veterans out there, we appreciate your service. For the families, thank you for letting us borrow your loved one. For our partners and our friends and everybody else that come and join us today, we appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for giving us the ability to do what we do, and trusting that we have your best interest. And because we certainly do. All the decisions not only impact each of you, but it also impacts all of us, because we're veterans just like the rest of everybody else. But until next time, we'll see you guys on April 15th. Jim, as always, appreciate you. We'll see you guys later.